So this is lecture 4, and today we're gonna mainly see Python variable, constant, and literals. Okay. So again, these are the very elementary concepts, and with the help of these concepts, we would be able to come up with some functional code. Okay. So when we talk about variables, what exactly we mean by variable. So in Python, variable is a named location used to store data in memory. Okay. It is helpful to think of variable as a container that holds data that can be changed later in the program. So let's say that you want to store a number, right? And that number you would be using at later point of time in your code. So we need to have a variable, right? And that variable will store that particular value. For example, here I'm defining a variable which is named as number, and that variable is storing a constant or an object which is numerical 10 into it. Okay, so you can just think variable as a container or a place where we can put our object. See, whenever you define a variable, right, the moment you change the value, the type of variable also gets changed. So this is a numerical variable. We don't need to implicitly write int number. We discussed this thing yesterday, but the moment we replace the value 10 by 1.1, this becomes a floating variable. If at all I have to correlate this thing with C, then this becomes a floating variable. And how exactly we are assigning a value to variable? We are using this assignment operator, which is nothing but equal to. This is called assignment operator. Now let us see how this thing work at the backend, the detailed concept of variable. So whenever you are assigning a value 10, what happens? You're storing a value 10, right? Where would you store that value? This is a question. If I have to store this value 10, where will I store this value? What is your thought on this? If I have to store a value or anything, where will I store that?
You will assign to the variable, and that variable is assigned to a memory.
Yes. So if I have to store anything, that will be stored in memory, right? Anything that you do, that will store it, that will be stored in memory, right? So, so the moment when you write number is equals to 10, what happens is the value 10 is assigned to memory. I think this diagram will help me to make my point. Just assume that this is a memory block in your computer, in your CPU. Okay. Now, the moment you have written number is equals to 10, or let's say 100, let's make it 100 to make it consistent with the diagram. That means what? This 100 is assigned into your memory, right? Now, every memory has its a memory location. Why do we need a memory location? So that we can retrieve data from memory. So this 100 is assigned to memory. This OXFF is the memory location, right? And what variable does? A variable points to this memory location, or I should say, the variable holds this memory location. It will not hold this physical value of 100. It will be stored in a memory. What variable store is, it holds the reference of this object, which is 100. Right? Is this funda clear? This is a bit deep concept. I'm sure a lot of people who do programming, they are not really aware of this. Normally we think that variable is a container which holds the data itself. It's not the data it holds, it's the memory address or reference it holds.
Yes, we understood.
Okay, cool. Now assigning a value to variable. Simply, as I mentioned, if you want to assign anything to variable, you just need to use this assignment operator equal to. So here I'm assigning a string object apple.com to a variable called website, and then I can print the value, right, which this variable is storing by simply using print function, which is an inbuilt function. Is it clear? Okay. As I already mentioned, if we'll change the value of variable, it will simply get replaced. Initially, this variable was pointing to an object called apple.com. The moment I replaced it, this apple.com is swapped by google.com. Okay. So right now we have seen how to assign an object to variable. You can assign multiple objects to multiple variable in a single statement also. So for example, here there's a variable a, b, c, and you want to store these object to it, right? So one thing you remember, everything in Python is object. If you have a numerical constant, it is an object. If you have a string constant, it is an object. If you have a boolean value, it is an object. So this 5 is an object, 3.2 is an object, hello is an object. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm storing this object 5 into A, 3.2 into B, and hello into C. So this is a shorthand representation or a shorthand assignment of object to variables in a single statement. Is it clear? You can assign these three objects to these three variable using a single statement also. And here it is shown how to do that. Is it clear? Now you can store same object to multiple variable also, right? So for example, here I'm having variable x, y, and z, and I'm storing the object called same to each of these variable. If you print x, y, z, you'll see that same, because every variable is having the same object which is same, right? What would have been the other way of doing this? You could have done x is equals to same, then y equal to same, and z equal to same in 3 different line, but you can do this way also, which is a slightly efficient way of doing it from visual perspective also, and maybe like from a coding perspective also. It looks it feels better when you have smaller length of code, when your code is not very much verbose. It's easier to interpret and fine. So we have seen variable, right? The next concept is constant. Okay. So what are the constant? These are the constant we just spoke. So constant is a type of variable whose value cannot be changed. Okay. It is helpful to think of a constant as container that hold information which cannot be changed later. So right now this is a variable, right? Because whatever we are storing into this variable, it can be changed at any point of time. We just need to replace it with some other object. But constant is something whose value does not changes. Okay. Now, how do we create a constant in a Python program? Now, so here there's a one trick here for defining a constant. But before that, understand where do we exactly use constant? Can you think of a place where constant are used? Come on, like from your mathematical experience also. What are the areas where constants are used? Any formula can you think of where constant is used?
Yeah, algebra.
Yeah, algebra. For example, can you give any formula where constant is used? For example, area, which is nothing but pi r square, right? Where pi is a constant. The value of pi is always 3.14, right? Or 22/7. So if you are dealing with that kind of problem where you are having some constant in your formula, definitely you will not want that value to get changed, right? You always want, whenever you are using uh, a constant in your,
Value.
yeah, just imagine what happens if you have created an application which is having a pi in one of the formula, and suddenly you see that the value of pi is changed because accidentally you have changed the value of that variable. That would create a chaos, right, in your logic. So the place where you want that your value should always remain fixed, that is a place where we use constant. So in Python, so I think you can do it by using the keyword also, but the way what I prefer is, how I do it is I create a separate script, a .py script, right? And there I define the value of my variable. So for example, let me show you this. Yeah. So I have this a script, .py script, where I have defined pi is equals to 3.14, gravity is equals to 9.8 meter per meter per second square, right? What I'll do is I'll just simply upload this into my workspace. Wait. I'll just simply upload this in my workspace. And here I'll just write constant.py. Okay, so I have uploaded this .py file, and that .py file is having my value of pi and gravity. Okay, so now I want to import this constant file in my workspace. So what I'll do, I'll just do import constant. Okay, and I'll just do constant.py. That means from this constant.py file, show me the value of .py, right? So it will show me pi is equals to 3.14, gravity is equals to 9.8. Clear? Just make sure that whenever you are defining a constant, you always use this block letter instead of small letter. That will help you to differentiate between the normal variable and the variable which is holding a constant. Is it clear? Okay. The next thing we have is called literal. Okay, and literals are basically 3 or 4 kind. One is a numerical literal, the other is floating literal. Then we have string literals, and there are certain advanced literals which we'll talk about as we go along. But let's start with the numerical literals. So numerical literal can be further divided into 2 parts. One is called floating literal and other is called integer literals. There are further subdivisions like binary literals, decimal literals, octal literals, and hexadecimal literals. Okay, so how do we define a binary number in Python? So there is a prefix called ob, right? There's a prefix called ob which is used, and then you can write your sequence of zeros and one, because since you are defining a binary number, you're assigning a binary value, it would be always 0 and 1s. Similarly, if you want to do a normal integer, which is also called as decimal value, you can do it like this. Like simply here I'm assigning number 100 to variable b. If you want to do octal literal, you just need to add a prefix 0 and o. If you want to do hexadecimal, then just simply you need to have a prefix 0 and x. Most of the time, I think you'll only deal with decimal literals, right? But if suppose you are working on some applications where you are trying to simulate some functionalities of digital circuitry, right? analog circuitry. In that case, you might need to have a decimal value, hexadecimal value, because those system typically works on hexadecimal numbers, right? Similarly, octal and binary can be utilized there also, but I think most of the time you would be using this decimal literal only. Okay, then we have having a floating literals. So floating literal is nothing but fractional value, for example 10.5, right? The other way of doing it is like 1.5 e2, that means 1.5 into 10 to the power 2. This is a short form of defining it. Again, most of the time I don't think you will be using this kind of notations. You would be using this notation only, but still, just for the sake of completeness, I'm explaining it to you. Then we are having a complex literal. You must be familiar about the concept of complex number, where we are having imaginary and real part. So here I'm having a variable x is equals to 3.14 j, right? Okay, so I'm sure that you must be familiar about the complex number, right? So you can have define the complex number also. Okay, so here 3.14 is the imaginary part, since j is attached to it, and the real part is 0 here. Normally it is in format of a plus ij, where a is the real part and I is the imaginary part. Okay. Then let's talk about the string literals. So we talked about numerical literal. Now we are having string literals. So as I mentioned yesterday, anything which is between this double quote, single quote, or triple quote, it could be considered as string object. So here this is a Python. This is an object which is getting assigned to variable string. Similarly, C is assigned to char, and we can have a multi-line string also. So for that, you need to use triple quote. If you want to define something multi-line, you need to keep inside triple quote. Then you can define a Unicode also, right? So to define a Unicode, you need to have that Unicode with you. This you can easily find through Google and all. If suppose you want to print an emoji, right? You want to type a message and you want to put a lot of like personal emotion there in that messages. What we do, we can do it by putting the emojis, right? That would be one way of for depicting the sentiment. So how do we put emojis in our print statement? We need to put come up with a Unicode, and you need to add a prefix called u, which says that this is a Unicode, right? So here, for example, you see here I'm uh, printing the word Unicode, but you see there are top dots in front above O and U. So this is a Unicode character. You can put you can print smiley also here. Just I need to know Unicode for smiley. Okay. This is irritating. This. Let's try this one. Okay, this has to be okay. This is not the correct Unicode. Or you can simply write yeah, this is the correct emoji Unicode. Yeah. You just need to put the Unicode and you'll see this smiley. Right? Is that clear? Are you comfortable with Unicodes?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So next is the Boolean literals. So Boolean in any form of language, it just simply means either true or false. It's a more aligned to binary concept where we are having 0 or 1, where 1 in a way is equal to true and 0 in a way equal to false. Okay. Same thing is applicable for Python also. So as I mentioned, 1 is equal to true. So we are checking here if 1 is equal to true, right? So here you'll see an operator. This is called equality operator, right? Initially what we saw an assignment operator. If there's a single equal to, it is called assignment operator. But if there's a double equal to, it is called as equality operator. So this line will check if 1 is equal to true or not. It is true, right? If 1 is equal to false or not, obviously not. 0 is equal to false. What would happen if I'll add 4 to true? So obviously just now we saw that true is equal to 1. So 1 plus 4 equal to 5. If I add false to 10, what would be the output? It would be 10 only, because just now we saw that false is equal to 0. You able to follow this? How exactly we are equating the
Yeah, Ashutosh.
Mhm.
Ashutosh, now you have assigned this value y is equal to 1 equal to false, but 1 is not false, so it will be assigned as 0 to y. Correct?
Which one? This line you're talking?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. See here, 1 is equal to false, right? So this is obviously false, right? This is false, right? Because
Yeah,
0 is false, 1 is true. So here we are
correct.
saying that is 1 equal to false? Obviously no. The answer would be false.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
false is getting assigned to variable y,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And here we are just printing it. Here y is, and then we are putting the value inside into the variable y. So what y is holding? Y is holding false, right? So here it
Yeah,
gets printed y is false. So this y is, it is coming from this string y is. This false is coming from this variable y, which is holding the value false. Is it clear?
yes.
Okay. You can read about this description also, how exactly things are going on each line. I just explained.
It is unlike if else statement, right?
Mhm.
It is unlike if else statement. Like if it is true, then return this value. Else we have those things. But as you said, 1 is equal to true. X is equal to 1 is equal to true,
Mhm.
and then y is equal 1 is equal to false.
Mhm.
Then again you assigned a value here. A is equal to 2 plus 4.
Yes.
So
Yep.
that's what it returns.
Are you talking about this line?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what I told
Then
is.
how is it 5?
Yeah. See, what I told is, see, in the first line we checked 1 equal to true. Yes, 1 is equal to true. So here this 4 will be added by a value 1, because just now we checked, no, true is
Right.
equal to 1. So
True
that's
is
what
equal
it
to 1.
became 5. Whereas
Right.
we know that false is equal to 0. So 0 plus 10 is 10 only.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay,
is it-
but false is equal to 0 is not assigned, no, Ashutosh. False is equal to 1 again.
yeah, see, we are not assigning here. We are checking equality. Wait, I'll this here. This is my Boolean value false. If I add this with anything, let's say I'll add it with 1. What do you think? What would be the output?
What?
If
False
I
plus 1.
false plus 1, what would be the output?
So it should be 2, not 0.
It should be 1 only, right? Because what we have said is true is equivalent to 1, false is equivalent to 0. It's a Boolean value, right? Either it would be 0 or 1. So true is equivalent to 1, false is equivalent to 0. So this false is equivalent to 0. 0 plus 1 becomes 1.
The
Isn't it?
Boolean value is 0 already. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. See,
I got it.
yeah. So that is
So,
what happening here
my
also.
question was, when we're assigning 1 for true, then 0 for false, we should have
No,
been,
no.
we should have mentioned it.
We
But
are not.
the system understands that it is 0, right?
Yes, we're not assigning here. As I mentioned,
Any-
don't get confused here with this operator. As what I
No,
told at the
it was
beginning, this is not assignment. This is equality check.
equality in check.
Assignment
I
is
understand.
by single equal to. If we are putting a double equal to, that means it's checking. It is an
Right.
equality operator, not the assignment operator.
Uh-huh.
Also,
Yeah, I got it.
also it is not possible that we assign an object true to a variable 1, because as we discussed in yesterday's class, a variable cannot start with numerical value, right? So obviously in that way also it doesn't make sense. Is it clear?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. The next is special literals, which I just talked about. So we talked about numerical, we talked about string, and then I told that there are some special literals, some advanced literal. So these are the things we're gonna discuss now. So what we have in special literal, the number 1 is none. So if you remember the list of keyword which I showed you just I think in day before yesterday's class or in yesterday's class, we had total 33 keywords and none is one among them, right? So what does none mean? None means nothing, right? If suppose I assign a variable, I mean if I assign none to any variable, what does that mean? It means that that particular variable is holding nothing. Okay. I know at the starting point of time it may feel a little bit confusing, but trust me, this none is very simple to understand. Most of the people commit mistake on this, but we'll keep our funda very clear. None, if you are assigning a keyword none to any variable, it means that particular variable is holding nothing. Now the question is, why at all we have to use none if it is not holding anything, right? So just think of a scenario where you want to use some variable, but at later stage of your code, right? So what you do is you have defined that variable at the top of your program and you have kept it as none. That means you have defined the variable, but it is holding nothing. It will hold only when you do some computation, right? So in those scenarios, none is used. Is it clear? Is none absolutely clear? See here I'm assigning none to variable name, right? And then it is replaced by Python. So final value is Python. But you can assign none to any variable like this. Here this is an assignment operator. Okay.
Satish, let's go back. So here when you assign two different values to the same variable, the recent value gets printed?
Yes. The recent value will only get printed. This none will be swapped by the recent value. This happens always. Right? I think we discussed this yesterday, but let me again rephrase it. You are having a variable, let's say A, and you have assigned 10, right? If you'll assign this variable 11 now, right, the initial value of 10 will be replaced by value 11. Sorry. Initially we assigned 10, then we assigned 11. So it will always show the recent value. This 10 will be replaced by 11. Clear? Okay. So last but not the least, this is one of the most important kind of literal. This is called collection literal. So whatever we have seen till now, those are the literals, but they are not storing multiple values, right? We talked about integer literals, we talked about floating literals, we talked about string literals, we talked about special literals, and none was one of it. Now let us see some literals which can hold multiple values. So to start with it, let's start with list. Okay, and this is one of the most important data type, or you can say literal in Python, because you'll see that almost any kind of program and any application you will build, it will have some implication of list. So how to create a list? You just need to use this bracket, this square bracket, and you need to put your values into it. So right now I'm creating a list called fruit, and I'm assigning apple, mango, oranges. Okay, and those are all items, or the element of list are separated by comma. Okay, so this is the way we create a list literal. The other literal from this collection category is called tuple. So tuple is also similar to list. We'll see the difference between tuple and list a bit later. But for now, just understand that tuple is another kind of literal which store sequence of value, right? And the way we create tuple is we just use this bracket and define 1, 2, 3. I mean, here instead of 1, 2, 3, you can put your values. Okay.
Why do we use tuple?
Put, when do we use tuple, you're saying, or how do we use tuple?
Yeah. Like how, when, both.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come to that topic, Nazma.
Later.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are having a
No.
separate module on tuple, list, dictionary, and set. For now, just understand that these are the part of literal collections, right? And how do we create each of this literal? Okay, so we saw list, we saw tuple. We're gonna see a dictionary. This is another important data type, or I should say, literal in Python. So it works on the fundamentals of key and value, right? And we always define it within these curly braces, right? And the elements of list are separated by comma. Okay, and there are two part in list. This is called key, this is called value. Anything which is in front of your colon is key. Anything which is behind your colon is called value, right? Like the way we have in Oxford Dictionary, Webster Dictionary, right? We have an alphabet in the top, and then in the pages we have all the words starting with that alphabet. So there you can relate it, right? There we are having a concept of key and value. We have a single key and we'll have value. Okay, then we have another literal which is called set. So set is again defined by curly braces, but there is no concept of colon here, right? You can define anything like the way you can define the tuple and list, but the thing is here you'll have curly braces. We'll read the functionality method associated with each of this literal a bit later, but these are the four major type of collection literals, and these are very, very important. We'll going to invest good amount of time learning each of these four data type.
Ashutosh,
Mm-hmm.
one small doubt I have. Can you please help me differentiate between single and double quotes, where and why it is used?
See, in terms of, for Python, there is absolutely no difference between double quote and single quote. Both, you can create your string both ways. For example, here I defined ABC, right? This is fine. And if I do it in single quote, this is also fine. So you can use single quote or double quote, right? There is no difference. But there's one catch here.
The braces. Is
But
braces also optional? Like you have used curly braces, square braces, and curve
Yeah.
braces. So yesterday you told that there is no need for opening and closing of the program with the curly braces. But here, when you're assigning alphabets within the curly braces,
Hmm.
so even that doesn't make difference, even if you use any other braces like square or
No,
curve.
here it makes here it matters, because right now we are not creating any program body, right? We are here we are just creating the literals. So
Okay.
here it matters. Here if we'll put anything between these curly braces, it will, the system will treat it as a set. If you'll put anything between square bracket, it will consider it as a list. If it is between
Okay.
these bracket, will consider it as a tuple.
Okay, this is compulsory.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so I will remember like this list is like should be under the square, and tuple should be under the curve, and a string should which is a dictionary should be curly, and a
Ye-
set should be curly to
yes.
define a set. Okay.
Yep. And yeah, just to further elaborate, Zara, on this, see, this double quote is used if suppose you are having a single quote in your string. For example, if I want to print something like this, in that case I need to use this double quote, because this single quote itself is a part of my string, right? Here if I'll do this, I won't be it will give me an error, because, right, you understand? If suppose you're having this quote as a part of your statement, then use double quote. If there is no single quote in your statement, you can use either double quote or single quote, as you wish.